So our cameraman just almost got run over trying to get the shot. We're going to hang out with Cat and Calmell. They are two besties slash pop stars slash hyper pop electronic icons. They just covered the Veronicas the other week, which, if you know me, speaks very deeply to me. What does it mean to live life cool star?
She's straight into the big shit. Oh, you take this one.
What does it mean for us to live life cool star?
I feel like live life cool star is a mindset, and at least like for us when we were writing it, I think we kind of just like let go of like that serious part of ourselves, and like I said, it's just like a mindset of like being cunty, being yourself, and not really like worrying about anything else other than like having fun and being cool.
Just kind of letting go and like just having fun as like a zealous girl.
Nice.
A zealous pop girl.
I love a zealous pop girl. Who is your, speaking of stars, who is like your ultimate North Star when it comes to making music? Do you guys have an artist that you love?
That's really tough.
Top 3? Right now.
Okay, in this very moment.
Yeah.
Bjork, obviously.
Nice.
I feel like we can like answer each other's.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just answer for Kat. No, I'll let you answer for yourself. I've been listening to this really super hot chick, DJ Dave. She does these really cool like codings and stuff on like a computer, and that's how she makes the music, and she's just like super hot.
Very slay. I have seen that on TikTok. Who else? Another artist that I really, really love and I think like is a big inspiration just in terms of their vision and creativity and like how unique and the way that they world build is Caroline Polachek. I just really, really love her, and I really love like the universes that she creates for her albums and her music. And I think for us, like a lot of the North Star or like inspirations is more just like the way people approach making their music and creating the world around it, and maybe less like, oh, I want to sound like Bjork or like Caroline Polachek. It's just like I love the way that they do their art and music.
The first song I discovered of yours was Wasting Away.
Really?
It was 2023, I think, and I was actually in Greece, and I found it on the new music playlist, and when I tell you the song fixation I had it on repeat for weeks. Like, I love that song. But obviously your sound has evolved and what you're writing about has evolved. So on the recently released EP, how do you guys think that you have evolved as artists, like both sonically and personally?
I think we're just like completely different people now. I think we've like really changed our mindset and how we move. Like, sorry, I'm waiting for my coffee and
That's okay.
To kick in.
yeah. Sorry, I'm like, okay, wait, let me start again. Blah 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 blah. I think when we first started writing for this project, especially after Give Yourself to Me, that was kind of like, hey. When we wrote Give Yourself to Me, that was really like the stepping stone into this world, because we were like hungover in Melbourne. Kat was like recently single and she was just like in a crazy mood, and that was kind of like the first party track we wrote. And once we started performing that and like getting really awesome feedback, we were like, this just feels so us. And all those things that we went through like a couple years ago when we wrote How Do You Feel is still like part of us, but I think we've just like really grown, and I think we're just taking things not as serious.
I think we got like a lot more self-assured in certain aspects. I think before, like, we would just write about more personal experiences or like things that we were going through in our individual lives, and then I think with Live Laugh Cool Star we kind of wanted to write something that like we both collectively to some extent were experiencing at that time, which was just like this sort of, I don't know, it's like a weird like at the time Camille and I were working at a bar, and then people would like come in and be like, oh my god, Cat and Camille, or like recognize us, and then there'd be like a moment on their faces where they realize that we're like working a bar, and then they're like, oh, what are you guys doing here? And then I'm like, gotta make money, girl. And I think like that's kind of the experience that kickstarted writing about Live Laugh Cool Star, which was just like this weird expectation people have of like what they think our lifestyle looks like or what it is like to be a pop girl, in us becoming more self-assured and also just like growing up and then also wanting to have more fun. We're just like, fuck it, let's just write this like Live Laugh Cool Star mixtape.
And I
let's
think
write
those
a song called
songs,
Z-List
like,
Girl.
those songs helped us live in that fantasy, but there's like little hints of just like truth and sincerity amongst the tracks, where I think like songs like Cool Star and stuff were just like, we're pop stars and we're like getting lit at the club and we have all these fans. But then I think Z-List Girl was the track where we were kind of just being a little bit ironic, but there was like definitely some truth behind that.
I don't think it's a false reality though. I feel like you're kind of presenting a dream and you're also manifesting your lives through that.
Very much so.
Do you think that any part of Australia and living here comes into your sound at all?
I'm sure to some extent just the experiences and the people we're around and like the music that we hear here makes an appearance somehow in our music. But I think maybe more than the sound, it's the, especially like the Cool Star music video, like I think when it comes to visuals and the aesthetics of it, that was the first video from the project and we really wanted it to be this like Australiana core, like showing a lot of just very quintessentially Australian things. Like we had one of our friends dress up like Corey Worthington and like we hung a goon bag from like our door frame and we were standing in the back of like a ute tray, and it's just like those little things that we wanted to sprinkle in there because we're like, guys, this is actually really cool and fresh.
So when you guys were like teenagers, I feel like those are the most formative years for taste and style. What were you obsessed with?
Oh my god, I was so obsessed with One Direction. I feel like everyone was. I just got to put that out there.
Who was your favorite?
Harry.
Abby.
Oh my god, Kitty Battle. Sorry, we just got this.
What's their name?
That's Figgy.
Piggy. Do you want a starring role?
Yeah, I was really obsessed with boy bands. Ovs. Obsessed with. I still am, but Black Eyed Peas was like super
Oh my
influential for
God.
me, especially Foggy.
Same.
Love Foggy. And to be honest, when I was a teen, I was singing a lot of Whitney Houston and Celine Dion, and that's kind of what I grew up as a Filipino. Obviously, that's pretty standard for karaoke and stuff. So I was like listening to a big mixture of things, but I think everything kind of had a part in like my vocals and my fashion taste and everything.
I think the first CD I ever bought was like an Avril Lavigne CD, and I just thought that she was like the coolest person ever. Figgy.
Don't worry, you're still the queen.
But I think like growing up in China, we went to karaoke a lot, and then my mom loved like Faye Wong, and so a lot of karaoke singing Faye Wong, and I still love her to this day. She's probably also one of my North Star artists.
Do you guys still do karaoke?
Oh yeah.
The thing is, I'm such a menace, and I'm very self-aware that I'm a hog. But the thing is, it's like no one likes an actual singer at karaoke, but I just try to get drunk where I'm just like, bleh! But I'm like, there's always one song where, and it's obviously Kelly Clarkson, another one of my, big influences.
Which Kelly Clarkson song?
Breakaway. I spread my wings and I learned. And Since You've Been Gone.
Yeah.
Just the
Classic.
classics. Those are the songs that I'm like, okay, enough fun. It's time to lock in.
Everybody shut up and listen. To me.
Watch.
But no one likes a hog. Everyone just wants to have fun. But sometimes it's a business.
I love Calmell at karaoke because I'm someone that doesn't like to get up and sing in front of everyone for karaoke, and so
I always
like
just end up forcing her, and I'm like, come on, duo.
Are you guys doing a duet ever at karaoke?
we did one last time we went to karaoke with all our friends. What was that? Was it the Avril Lavigne song? Because we interpolated it during the session.
We did. Okay, T. We did, like, I think before that karaoke session, we did a session where we interpolated, yeah, yeah. And so we sung that, and it wasn't as good as in the studio because my vocals were a bit raw.
And
Yeah.
we didn't practice, so I was like, I'm just going blind into these harmonies right now.
That's how it kind of needs to be for karaoke.
Yeah.
I feel like we can probably find a video of it.
I'm like, do we have auto-tune up in this bitch?
What makes a pop star? What are the key ingredients?
You have to have vision and also delusion. I think, like,
Huge on the delusion, for real.
I think there is a level of, like, to some extent, you know your own abilities, or you have, like, a certain belief in yourself that you can do this thing that is your dream or something that you want to achieve. But it's such a weird I guess, job or like industry to be in, because there's just no guidebook on how to do it, or like what milestones you hit will mean that like you're going to be successful. Like anything can happen at any time, and so you do have to maintain like a level of delusion in your own head that like I just have this like completely unfounded belief that everything's going to work out somehow, even though like I think it's about like making a world and bringing people into it, and you need a level of like vision and delusion to like actually create your own reality and be like, it's so fun here, you guys should come too. Like you have to sell it.
Yeah, you also have to like literally energetically believe that you are that thing so that you're on that level. Do you know what I mean? Like the quantum physics of it all.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
literally. I think like as someone
Timeline
who's like,
shift.
girl. All right, let me just do a really quick spiel on how I timeline shifted.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Wait, do you want to hold this? I'm gonna get my tea.
Yes.
I'm sat for your story time.
Oh my god. Okay, everyone's sat. It all started with Wicked. I, low-key, was just like so depressed this year. Anyway, and then I was just like, who am I? Nothing brings me joy. And all the things that I thought or that I knew would make me happy or give me little glimpses of happiness, I would completely avoid. E.g. Wicked. I saw a TikTok on like, oh, you can literally timeline shift by doing this thing or doing this thing. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to watch Wicked. That changed
By doing
everything.
something very little that's out of the ordinary, like
Yeah.
talking to a stranger or whatever.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start here. I'm going to watch Wicked. That genuinely changed the trajectory of my life. Sticking to like this like weird schedule that you know makes you unhappy, or like avoiding the small little joys in life because either you think you don't deserve it or I don't know what. Yeah, I did that. Then the next day I got a matcha instead of getting a coffee, and I was like, oh my god, timeline shift. And then we ended up talking to a stranger, and he's like, I'm writing a screenplay, can I write it, can I bum a ciggy off you? And then he was just like talking about his screenplay, and I was like, oh blah blah. And then we wore wedding dresses to the arias, and then I put it on a tiara, and then I started wearing it casually with a t-shirt, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so, I'm gonna wear it right now just for vibes.
Bring out the tiara.
All right.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
I know.
It's
See,
perfect.
you change your own reality and you become the princess you were always meant to be.
Do you guys live together?
Yes.
Do you get sick of each other?
I think, okay, let me say this.
Let me just say this.
On the record, I think it really takes a special kind of friendship to be able to, one, live together, to basically be in a business together. And I think, because before we moved in together, a lot of people like, don't move in with your best friend. I think you guys are just like lame and don't have like good friends. Who I was before we moved in together was very, very different. And I think what I've learned, you know, now living with my best friend, living with my partner, and living with my sister, I know that personal space is really important to me, which it never used to be. I'm like, everyone get in my biz. I don't want to be alone no more. Everyone get out of my room right now. Like,
Okay, bye.
but, come on. I'm looking at you. Just kidding. It's really important to have that understanding of each other, and Kat knows my limits and my boundaries and vice versa. Took us a couple years to get there, but I think only like the strongest of BFFs and soulmates can survive that. So
What's next for 2026 for Cat and Calmell?
I think we just want to keep riding this wave. I think with this mixtape, it's the most fun we've had doing a rollout and like just putting out music.
it sounds lame, but literally just have fun. When you like let go and stop giving a shit what anybody thinks, like you actually thrive.
We just want to immediately get back into the studio and start writing the next thing, which we don't really know what that is yet, but I think we're just gonna like follow down the same trajectory, because I feel like we've only really like scratched the surface of what we can do or this kind of music we can make, because a lot of this was like our first attempts at making music like this. But
I've been holding it upside down. We're Cat and Calmell.
and you're watching Odyssey TV.